Hello, everyone. Welcome. Rabbi Abe here from rabbiabe.com. We are headed into the new moon of Cancer. And I had to make this video because there's so many secrets in the month of Cancer and extremely important understanding for all forms of healing, especially the disease that has the same name. So please pay attention, try to understand as much as you can. If you have questions, please just go to the comments section on YouTube, write your question down, or you can go to rabbiabe.com, and if it's a really pressing question, you can schedule a 30-minute, a free consultation with me, again, if you really have serious questions or need help in that understanding. Okay, so let's go into it. In fact, Cancer is so significant that the cure to many forms of disease and chaotic circumstances exists only in the month of Cancer. Only in the month of Cancer, as explained by the Kabbalists. So I'd like to start off by reading from the original text from Abraham the Patriarch, and that is the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation, where he speaks about the creation of the planets and what controls the planets and the constellations. So he says like this, and I'm reading from, it's 44, chapter 44, in the Book of Formation. There is an English translation of the Book of Formation, by the way. Very difficult to understand. Okay, it's like a jigsaw puzzle, but we'll do our best. And but as I say, there is an English translation by R.E.A. Kaplan. Sheva Kfulot, Bet Gimel Dalet Kaf Pei Reish Taf Bagad Kaprat Chakakan Chatzvan צפן וצר בהם כוכבים בעולם וימים בשנה ושערים בנפש ומהן חקק 7 רקיעים ו7 אדמות ו7 שבתות לפיכך חיבב שביעי תחת כל השמיים. All right. So it says here, and this is the actual text of the Book of Formation, and Abraham says there are 7 doubles. Now, everything is based, we should understand, on the Aramaic letters, or Hebrew. Some people call them Hebrew, some people call them Aramaic. They are ancient. They have nothing to do with religion. They are the original form, according to many understandings and many sources, the original form of communication. Because that any language is a form of communication, bringing consciousness into words. And words are the most powerful thing there are. We don't realize how powerful words are, but words are what separates us from from every kingdom and even from the angels. The fact that a human being can speak. So he says there are 7 doubles, and these 7 doubles refer to 7 primary letters. Okay? We call them primary letters. These 7 letters are responsible for the 7 primary planets. And those planets are, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and the Moon. Okay? Those are the 7 primary. And I know there are more planets. They are not the primary planets. Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto are part of the concealed world. Okay? These are revealed. These planets are revealed. We know there are 3 concealed and 7 revealed, which I hope at some point we'll be getting into in our videos of the Tree of Life, okay? Because we know there are 10 Sephirot, 10 dimensions, and 3 represent the upper world, which is concealed, and 7, the lower world, or the physical world, which is revealed, the physical world. So not only that, the 7 primary planets, 7 days of the week, of course, 7 levels of firmament. I think we call them Van Allen belts, the 7 levels of atmosphere, 7 oceans, 7 seas, 7 continents. Did anyone ever wonder why all those things are 7? There are 7 colors in the spectrum, not the invisible colors, okay? The 7 visible colors of the spectrum, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, the colors of the rainbow, which are also 7. Okay, so what is he telling us over here? That the creation or the force behind the planets and all those other things that I mentioned are these letters. Now, I know that's a tough one, okay? And I've discussed this in previous videos. It's not about a letter that you see on a page. It's a cosmic force of vibrational energy that also happens to form a letter that we can see visually. But these forms, which were later called Hebrew or Aramaic letters, are key forces of the universe, and that's why they are the strongest vehicles of transference of metaphysical, spiritual energy. And that's why the name of the language in Hebrew actually comes from the word to transfer. Ivrit comes from the word lahavir, havara, transference, to transfer. Why would the name of a language mean to transfer? Because that's what it does. In the strongest way possible. Every language transfers. But that's the strongest transfer of spiritual energy into the physical world when we know how to use it. As well, they are used, or they were used, or are used as vehicles of creation. So what else does it say? Remember, we're discussing right now Cancer. I'm giving you a general overview. But he also tells us specifically, guess I got a little frog in my throat, specifically about the specific letters of the month, this month specifically. Himlich ot chet. So the letter chet, he presented itself. In other words, this discussion is the letters presenting themselves to the Creator. Himlich ot chet v'kasha lo kete, and he bound to it a crown. V'tzabot sartan Ba'olam v'tamuz b'shana v'regel smol b'nefesh. So he bound to it a crown, and with it he created the constellation known in Aramaic as Sartan, in Hebrew as well Sartan, which means the month of Cancer. Now I know it sounds a lot like Satan, but that's a different word, okay? Sartan. Now, what's interesting about this word Sartan in Hebrew, it means the constellation of Cancer. But in Aramaic, the same exact word means confusion. Confusion. Sartan. Actually, it's 2 words. Sar, which means to remove, tan, confusion. So it's not confusion. It's to remove confusion. Extremely important. The removal of confusion. Can you imagine if we begin to understand the secrets of this month, the month of Cancer? In it is concealed the force that has the capability to remove confusion from our life. Now, we'll see how that relates to healing. In any sense of the word, emotional healing, spiritual healing, healing of a relationship, healing of a business, healing in any sense of the word. Why? Because what is disease? Confusion. Whether it's cancer, which is confusion of the cell with whatever it does, it mutates and so on. There's a confusion in the DNA. In other words, there is order, a direct connection to order in this month, but only when you know how to connect with it according to the tools of Kabbalah. Why? Because the month, by its nature, contains confusion. And that is why the Kabbalists explain that any form, those diseases, especially the extreme diseases, especially that one, cancer, initiates and can only initiate on a metaphysical level in the month of Cancer. And then, if God forbid it physically manifests in a person's life, that can be whenever. Whenever that happens, it happens. Could be any time in the year. But where did it originate? In the month of Cancer. So, where's the cure? In the month of Cancer. We know always the cure is found in the same place as the disease. That's a cosmic rule, Kabbalistic rule as well. You will find the cure for poison ivy growing right beside the poison ivy. And so too, the cure, in fact, is always given before the problem or the disease. But unfortunately, we have blindfolds on and we don't recognize the cure when it comes, okay? The preventive medicine, as it were. Okay, so let's discuss it now. The Kabbalists explaining the two forces guiding this month, and the Sefer Yetzirah speaks about the planets as well. We mentioned that. The letter Chet. The letter Chet. So the letter Chet as well is in tandem with the letter Taf. Chet and Taf. Chet and Taf are the letters which control the moon, which rules this month, and the constellation of Cancer. Okay? Chet and Taf. Now, how do we use these two letters? I'll get to that towards the end. I'll give you a very special meditation to tap into healing and removal of the confusion, and in other words, the seed level of curing, according to the Kabbalists. What's the problem? In other words, what's the essence of the issue in the month of Cancer? Well, by no coincidence, we have an animal, and in Hebrew it's the same, who is named the same way. In fact, we have a different name in English, but in Hebrew it's an identical name. In English, there's an animal we know, a sea creature, usually hangs out by the ocean, called a crab. A crab. Now in Hebrew, it's very interesting. He's called a cancer. In Hebrew, Sartan. The same as the month, the same as the disease. In Hebrew, all the same word. But in English, we call him a crab. Now, what's unique about the crab? Well, if you look at a crab, he walks from side to side. He walks sideways. He can walk left, he can walk right. He can't walk straight. Watch the crab as he walks. He does not have the ability to walk straight. Now, why is that? Well, The secret of the crab is a lack of balance. And therefore, also people who are born under the sign of Cancer need to be careful with their emotions because they can be sometimes not balanced with their emotions. It's something that the Cancerian needs to work. That's the work. We all have our work, but the Cancerian has the work of balancing emotions. You know, a Cancerian in 1 second can cry, tears can come to their eyes if they hear something that they feel is emotional. Could be every other thing, could be very emotional, and the tears begin to flow. They can be very happy and excited in one moment, amazingly excited, and the next moment they can be depressed, okay? Sad and depressed. And it's simply not, the balanced emotional state that we would like to be in. So that's the work of a Cancerian, is to balance the emotions. It's one of the things, obviously. This is not an astrology class per se. But what's important to understand from that is that the fundamental ingredient in a crab is missing. It's missing. Meaning the crab has right and left. Right and left. And therefore he only walks right to left. He has no middle. Now the middle in Kabbalah is called Kav Emtsai, a central column. Central column. What is the meaning of a central column? A lot of people would make the mistake in thinking, well, sounds like it must balance between right and left. No, it doesn't do that. In other words, and this is a greater discussion, but a balance means you need to eliminate one or the other, lessen one or lessen the other. You're too much of a giver. You need to learn how to take. Okay, so I'll quit giving so much and I'll learn to take more, or vice versa. You're too much of a taker and maybe you need to learn how to give more. Okay, you need to balance yourself out, and that's great. The spiritual system which relates to this idea of balance is called yin and yang. It relates to Eastern teachings, which is perfect for those who vibrate with that. Okay? Again, not everybody is the same. I know everyone wants to be the same, right? But in energetic terms, we are not the same. None of us are the same. No two people are the same. Never mind, energetic segments of the population. So some people, different people vibrate with different things. And that's amazing. The point of humanity is not to make everybody the same. It's to appreciate each one's differences. That's very important. We are not equal. We are absolutely different, each and every one of us. The goal and the mission of life is to have appreciation for each other. I mean, if you put a building together, do you need only electricians? Do you need only concrete people? Do you need only... is one better than the other? It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous conversation if you even have to have it. It's all about learning how to love and appreciate each other's differences, but not making everyone the same. Okay, enough said. And so a balance situation applies to those who need to create balance. Okay? Balance between the right and the left. Giving and receiving forces, pluses and minuses. This is not what Kabbalah is about. Okay? And that's why I often say Kabbalah, the teachings of Kabbalah are very, it's very deep and powerful, as many teachings are. But it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody because sometimes it's simply too hard. The rewards are equal, to the effort. I have to say that. But again, If it's too much, it's like even eating too much. You get a bellyache. Not for you. Good. That's okay. If you eat 2 slices of pizza and I need 3 or 4, it doesn't make me better than you. I just need different things, okay? So in Kabbalah, we speak about the right, the left, and the central column, which is very much not understood, even by many people studying the Kabbalah. What does it mean? And what is the meaning of the crab? He only has the right and the left, and he needs to learn his balance situation. But the ultimate cure is not about balance. That's half the way. It's about central column. Now let me digress for a second, because I'll let you in on a secret. It's always appropriate in this particular month. And forgive me if the video goes a little bit long, but I assure you it will be worthwhile. The nature of the universe is based on 3 principles. Okay? It is based, the physical universe is based on 3 principles of right, left, and central. How do we know that? The atom. Everything is made of atoms, and every atom's basic components are a proton, the plus, an electron, the minus, and a neutron. What is a neutron? Don't say neutral, because that is not incorrect. In fact, it's doing the most work. It's not balancing the atom. No, it's not. Any more than in a light bulb. Now, I'm talking about a regular standard light bulb, not an LED, though that principle exists someplace else. But I'm talking about the standard light bulb that has 2 poles, a positive and a negative. Now, positive and a negative, does it need anything else? In fact, it does. It needs the thing in the middle. Yeah, if you know what that's called a filament. A filament. So you have a plus, a minus, and a filament. Now, what does that filament do? And again, when I ask this question in classes, most people say, well, it brings them together. No, wrong. It can't bring them together. If it's just bring them together, what does it need to be there for? Just bring those 2 poles together. And if you know even a little bit, if you've ever tried to jump start your car, if you put the black and the red together, what happens? Boom! Short circuit, big fire, spark. That's not the way to do it. You see, we cannot bring right and left together. So the filament, what is the filament doing? The filament is the secret of central column, okay? It's the secret of central column. What does it need to do? It needs to push. It needs to resist. That's what it does. It's a resistance force. Force of resistance. You see, the filament has to say 2 things. It has to say to the negative, no, not so fast. And it has to push back on the positive, say, no, you can't come in too fast. So I'm a 5-watt light bulb. I need to resist 5 watts. I need to resist 10 watts. After all, a 100-watt light bulb doesn't use different electricity than a 5-watt light bulb. It has different level of resistance. So the more it resists, the more light there is. Now, this is counterintuitive. I understand that. But, again, we can't go too deeply into the idea, the understanding right now, but we do understand from the light bulb and the atom, it does the same in the atom. You know what happens when you take the neutron out of an atom? You get an atom bomb. That's how they do it, with nuclear fission. with an atom splitter. That's how they create atom bombs. Unfortunately, when the right and left come together directly, it creates a mess. It creates a cancer. You know what we call that? Radioactivity. Very interesting. So what's the cure here? What's the cure? What would you say would be the cure to the atom that was split and is missing now its neutron? What would you do if you were all powerful? What would you try to purify the atom? Can you purify radioactivity? No, you cannot. But what you might think to do if you were all powerful is put the neutron back, put the central column back, put the resistance back if you could. Well, we may not be able to do it in the atom exactly. Maybe we can. But we can certainly do it here. In our consciousness and our mind we can. You see, that's what creates a short circuit in a light bulb. It creates short circuit in our life too. Imagine that crab going from side to side. How could we make him walk straight if that's possible? If we could put some kind of device in him that, pushes him, he shouldn't walk right or left. He should walk straight. I don't know what that would look like, but again, imagine this idea. What does that look like in life? In life, it looks like resisting our selfish desires. In our life, it looks like resisting selfish behavior. In our life, it looks like thinking about what we do before we do it. In our life, it looks like being willing to push through difficult challenges and situations. In our life, it looks like being willing to say I'm sorry when my ego is now a problem and it won't let me push through it, push through the challenge, push through the difficulty that needs to happen, push through the difficulty that doesn't need to happen. The foods that I said I wouldn't eat, but now I'm feeling weak. Push through, find a tool, do something to strengthen yourself to be able to resist the selfish desires that our nature provides us. You see, our nature, in our DNA, all of our astrology, in our map, which we call nature, below the stars contain all sorts of opportunities in our life, which is why we're here. All sorts of opportunities to overcome that nature. So in case you think you're here and you're a good person, but you still suffer, or whatever happens to, I have a news flash. The bulletin is, we are not here to be good people. That's not why we're here. We are not here to be good people. We are here to change very specific things that we came to change, to overcome. That's why we're here. If you're born a good person, wonderful, good for you. That's great. Why are you here? Every one of us, including every good person out there, if you're suffering and you don't know why, there's something you need to be doing and you have not yet discovered what it is, and you're not resisting. That's the truth. So what is this month of Cancer about? The month of Cancer is the seed level. It's unbelievable. The gift that we get in the month of Cancer is to be able to access the seed level of the energy of the forces of confusion that have domain over Cancer, unless you know how to reverse it. And that's the key. So, there's two things that we need to do. Number one, I have a special meditation for you. Special meditation, which is a combination of the Tetragrammaton. Okay? Tetragrammaton is the 4-letter name that we, according to Kabbalah, we do not pronounce that name. It's the Yud K Vav K. Some people say Y Vav Y V Hey V Hey. No? Oh, Y Hey. I never used that in English, so sorry. Confusion. There you go. Yud K Vav K in Hebrew. And also another name, which is actually a higher expression, but a more sublime expression of Aleph K Yud K. And that's the name that Moses received at the burning bush, story, the secret story, where Moses asked the Creator, they will ask, what name should I call you? The Israelites, in other words, in Egypt, in the slavery story, and so on. So the Creator answered in a strange way, I will be what I will be. In Hebrew, it's Eheyeh, Asher Eheyeh. This name, Eheyeh, is a very powerful name. We generally do not use it, only on certain occasions. And we use it in form of meditation only during each new moon. And that's why every new moon I put out these videos so that we can have tools to do battle against whatever negative forces there are within ourselves and in our environment and overcome them. Okay, so the Aleph K Yud K is the other name, and they are reversed. Okay, for meditation, they are reversed. This month, the combination are reversed. The Yud K Vav K is reversed, K Vav K Yud, and so is the Aleph K Yud K. Now, again, why would that be? Because remember, what we are doing, the energy of the month is exactly in reverse. The month of Cancer potentially has within it immortality. I know that sounds crazy, but I've mentioned this in other videos that years ago, Time magazine said the immortality gene, and there was a picture, I don't remember what the picture was, probably 25, 27 years ago, the immortality gene, where science has found the immortality gene. Guess where they find the immortality gene, or what they call the immortality gene? In a cancer cell. What on earth? How would you find an immortality? What does it mean? Because cancer, God forbid, anyone should have cancer, but this is the month to pay very close attention to. The seed of immortality, meaning it goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, cancer, when it's manifest, it's a negative polarity of the immortality. What does that mean? It's destructive immortality. It keeps going and going and going if it's, just kind of left alone without shifting in consciousness and maybe doing whatever the physical things may also be necessary as well. It'll keep going till it even consumes itself. It keeps reproducing mutated cells. Now, wouldn't it be great? I mean, our system is designed to continuously produce healthy cells. But, age, free radicals, God, whatever they say, why it stops corruption of our DNA, so on and so forth. So we age, so we're not as resilient maybe as we once were, perhaps. Of course, you need to begin to study Kabbalah if you want to be younger and, hopefully healthier, all right? But that's what happens. That system, the immortality system, breaks down. And when it breaks down enough, or for other reasons that diseases are permitted to enter into the immune system, there can be death, illness, or for other reasons, other unforeseen circumstances, accidents, and so on and so forth. But again, they all have the seed level. in this month. Can you imagine? And that's why this video is extra long. It's extremely important to understand. So, okay, you have the meditations for this month. And the other thing is, be careful of our behavior. To be super vigilant, not to go to extremes of emotional behavior. Not extreme happiness, because that's not real. Unless that's the way you are all the time. Anything temporary is not real. It's temporary. If you're generally a happy person, then, great. But extreme happiness, extreme sadness, and, extreme happiness is usually because, something happened, so now I'm happy. But we understand that that's not real happiness, okay? If you're not happy just because you are, then you're not really happy. If something needs to make you happy, or you need to be happy when something happens, that's not real, okay? And the same is true for the other side. Sadness, yes, there's a time to be sad in a balanced way, but generally, no, okay? It's a reaction to certain things that happen to us. And sadness, depression, allowing ourselves to go into anger, extremes of emotions, jealousy, anger, as I say, not good. This month, not good. Not good. It's not good for us because it has the capability to allow this imbalance of energy of Cancer in. Protective mechanisms, again, do your best with your consciousness, but we all fall down. And that's why we have the tools. Okay? The tools, the two names, the two very special names of the Yud K Vav K in reverse and the Aleph K Yud K in reverse, and the letters of the month, the letter Chet, which governs the month of Sartan, and meditate to remove confusion from Cancer. Remove the confusion. And the letter Taf for the moon, to remove the lack of the moon. And that's what we need. And if we follow this, we will not only have a good month, we will have an amazing month full of light that we can't even imagine. So it will also help us plant seeds for the health and well-being in our life that we need. Remember, it's planting the seeds for the health and well-being. When the health will manifest, likely sometime in the year. It's not immediate, there's no instant pudding. Sometimes it is. But again, this is how the system operates, okay? Thank you very much, guys, for listening. Thank you for watching the video, taking the time. I wish all of us an amazing month, a Chodesh Tov, as we say, a good month, a month of prosperity, a month of blessing, a month of endless life, and love, peace, and harmony. And I will see you very soon on the next video. Don't forget, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. All the best.